and welcome back to RC Model Reviews. Now here's something that some people would say we need, like another hole in the head. Another quadcopter. Yes, just what the hobby needs, another quadcopter, remote controlled quadcopter. But actually, I gotta say, I really like this little CineQueen, it's called, the CineQueen 4K. It's from GEPRC. They've made a lot of these little quads. It's the first one I've seen, and I've got to say I'm mightily impressed. Now, I'm a bit of a cinequad fan. I like cinequads because I like to get nice footage, but I don't want to bang into things and have my props foul a tree or a branch and fall on the ground and ruin the day. So cinequads with their little prop guards and things are really nice, and this one is really nice because it's sub 250. Now, I reviewed the Holy Bro Copus cinequad thing, and that's quite a bit more than 250 grams. It has the DJI digital system. Now, this is an analog quad, no digital FPV system on this. It has a traditional FPV system, and what it does have though is a 4K camera. So it's going to be very interesting to compare perhaps the digital DJI system, or a cinequad with the DJI digital system, to an analog cinequad, because they both have their strengths and weaknesses. But in this video, I'm going to talk about this quad. I'll do the comparison in a future video because there are some very important pros and cons to each. But let's take a look at the GEPRC, what is it, CineQueen 4K. Here we go. Right, we don't unbox things, but it comes in a box. Everything comes in a box. So this comes in a box, and apparently it's a high quality quadcopter. And I'd have to agree with that. It is pretty good quality. What do you get in the box? Well, you get some spare props. Although with the prop guards, I don't think you'll need them. But hey, even if you don't need them, they are there. You get some stickers. Everyone loves cool stickers. You get some instructions. This was a bind and fly with the FrSky XM Plus receiver. So you get the instructions for the XM Plus. That's all very well and good. What else did I get? I got a card from GEPRC support, how to get support. Okay, I haven't needed support, I'm happy. Get some of these foam strips. I've no idea what these are for. I don't know, honestly, I have no idea what those are for, but you get them. Very handy to get. You get a couple of tubes as well, and you get a little Allen key for undoing nuts and bolts, but I've already lost that because I undid some nuts and bolts. Never mind. But quadcopter, there's the quadcopter. Now this comes in a number of flavors. It's not just one option. It comes with the choice of the RunCam Hybrid or the Caddx Tarsier, and this one has the Caddx Tarsier. Now, initially, I thought, I'd rather have had the RunCam one, but on reflection, and having spent some time playing with the Tarsier, I think they both have their pros and cons. Now, which one should you choose? I guess it depends on what's important to you. But I have a piece of paper here in which I made some notes, and I'm going to run down some of the things that I've noticed. Well, first of all, this obviously is a 4K camera. That's maximum resolution. Now, I went out on a cold morning, surprisingly cold for winter, and I got some footage, some 4K footage. And here we go. This was filmed at our town centre in 4K, 30 frames per second. It's not very good. It was actually my second only flight with this quad, and my fingers are a bit shaky at that hour of the morning. So here you go. But what I wanted to get a look at was the light handling, because the Tarsier just has hands down better light handling than the RunCam Hybrid. You'll notice with the sun shot here, we've still got good detail in the blacks. It's got good wide dynamic range, and the only criticism I'd have of the RunCam Hybrid is the wide dynamic range sucks, really seriously, compared to most of their other offerings. I don't know what they've done wrong, but in the conditions like this, the Tarsier really, really shines. It looks pretty damn good. I haven't even really color graded much of the footage I'm showing you in the video today. But there we go. That's a quick look at it, and that's fine. Now, of course, there's two parts to these cameras. There is the high definition recording camera, and there is the live FPV camera. And I'd have to say that comparing the RunCam Hybrid to the Tarsier has a better live camera. I like the output from the Tarsier live camera better. It doesn't show up that well on the DVR footage, but in real life, it just looks a little bit better. I don't know why, but I just like it. But they're pretty close, so you'd probably be happy with either. But let's get away from the camera, because as I say, there are two options. I'm just showing you one option. Let's look at the quad itself. Some of the best features. Well, look at this. Sparkly Barbie plastic prop guards. Isn't that nice? Look, sparkly. Fantastic. I think that's the first quad I've ever seen which has sparkles. Is that a pro or a con? I don't know. It depends what kind of neighborhood you live in, I suppose. But hey, it's got them. And the nice thing about these prop guards is, look, they are very, very narrow. There's not much height in those. I have my dial calipers here somewhere. I will measure them, and we'll see just how thick those prop guards are, because really all they have to do is stop the props from getting broken. So let's put them on here. And we have just a smidgen over 9 millimeters deep. And that's important. In fact, one of the best features of this as a cinequad is, if I hold it up like this, look how thin it is in terms of top to bottom. There's not a lot of profile to this thing. The battery is the thickest part. And that means this is really quite unaffected by the wind. Now, the Holy Bro Copus, which I'll be comparing this to later, has very, very thick prop guards. I think about nearly 30 millimeters deep, the prop guard. So it gets blown around the wind a lot, even though it's a heavier quad. So this thing handles the wind with ease. In fact, the first flight I had with it was out here, and I'll show you some DVR footage. I went out and flew by the windsock, and you can see from the windsock just how windy it was. And this is the live FPV video camera footage. Unfortunately, I forgot to start the HD recording, so I don't have HD recording of this to show you alongside. But hey, that's what that looks like through the FPV camera. And it's great. But notice how stable it is in the wind. This isn't getting blown around at all. I was really, really impressed. That's one of the big features of this tiny little quad. For a sub 250, she's pretty rock steady in the air. Now, if we start looking inside the guts of it, let's take the battery off because we don't need that to show you what we're doing. It takes a 650 milliamp 3 or 4 cell. 4 cell, it's got plenty of punch. It's quite a peppy little machine on 4 cells. 3 cells, it's a bit more sedate. If you want to do some cinematic filming, slow drifting through the trees or around buildings or people, 3 cells, it's going to be more than enough because you don't need that punch. But the 4 cells outdoors, it can handle all sorts of things. This is a pretty crappy Tattoo 650 and 1 cell's just gone bad on me, damn it. But before the battery went sad, it's only had about, I don't know, 10 charges. Before the battery went sad, I was getting about 4.5 minutes, which is pretty good for a little quad like this. Right, let's look at the business end down here where we've got all the electronic RF goodery. Standard 5.8 gigahertz lollipop antenna there. They come with these little plastic tubes which house your antennas for your receiver. And that's pretty good. Everything's out of the way. It's not going to get fouled on a branch or a tree or a person or whatever. And yet it seems to provide really good performance. The video transmitter itself will go from 25 to 500 milliwatts. I've been using it in 200 milliwatts because not so much power in a little battery, so I don't want to use any more power than I have to. 200 milliwatts has been fine. I've had up to 300 meters of range and I'm still getting a solid, rock solid video picture. So, hey, I'm happy with that. I'd only use 500 if I was going to be going behind trees or in areas where I thought I might be a little bit marginal. As you can see, the RC receiver is in the top there. So this was a bind and fly, so this was all installed for me. The bind button's readily accessible, so it's super, super easy to set up. It's got an F4 flight controller running betaflight. So if you're familiar with betaflight and F4 flight controllers, this is a doddle to set up. Really, really quick, really simple. One thing I should point out is that the flight controller is buried in the guts down there, right down there in the guts of it. And as you can see, the prop guard blocks the little micro USB port for the flight controller. How are you going to plug in? Well, the Holy Bro gave us a right angle connector and I tried that, but it doesn't fit. There's just not enough space in there to fit a right angle connector. But GEPRC, they included this in the box. I should have showed you that earlier. It's just a little circuit board which has micro USB facing that way on there and a micro USB up and down. So you put that in there, plug it in, and you can connect your standard micro USB cable to the top. Got to be a bit careful though, because there's a fair amount of leverage you'll be applying to the onboard connector there. You don't want to rip it off. So caution is the key word. But hey, it works and it makes it very easy to plug in and set up. Woohoo, bonus points. Right. The battery strap is quite cool. I'm surprised they have a metal buckle on it. I don't think I've seen on such a small quad a metal buckle before. But it goes right around the body and it sits between these 2 rows of screws here. So it's really good. It doesn't slide backwards and forwards. And there is a little rubber pad here which they give you. You have to stick it on yourself. Oh, the things you have to do. You have to stick that on yourself, which grips the battery very well. So nothing moves, nothing moves. And you'll notice that this isn't sort of like just everything stacked on top of each other. All the components are laid out along the length of the quad. So the balance is pretty good. Look at this. It balances really well. And that makes for much better handling. You're not constantly having to have the flight controller fight against an out of balance situation. And of course, the battery sits right there in the middle. So it is an exceptionally well balanced quad, which shows in the flight characteristics. What else have I got on my list of things here? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, nearly finished it. That's about it. The only things, again, going back to the thing, it's going to be the choice of camera. I think there are plenty of reviews of the Tarsier 2 and also reviews of the RunCam hybrid. So you can make your choice up based on that. I think in terms of the receiver options, you've got Fly Sky or Free Sky. I think I saw on the Banggood website, which means I just have to point it to you. This was sent in by Banggood for review. But if I didn't like it, I'd tell you. I get plenty of crap. I've had plenty of crap from Banggood in the past, but this is a good machine. I think GEPRC have done a really good job with this. So I guess all I can really do now is fly it and give you some flight footage. In fact, I went down to the park this morning, just in the golden hour, and I got some footage flying through the trees. Now this footage, I haven't graded the color at all. The colors are natural as they come off the camera. What I have done is I've simply added a little bit of stabilization, and because my camcorder here, this one, shoots at 50 frames a second, I have used optical flow to retime the 30 frames a second from the camera to 50 frames a second. So that explains the tiny little artifacts in some cases when the sun is bright in the sky. But notice when the sun is bright in the sky, if she's shining straight into the lens of the camera, the wide dynamic range on this Tarsier camera is just super excellently good. Fantastic. I love it. It's really nice. Yeah, that's about it. I would say yes. If you're looking for a cinequad with a 4K camera that will fly indoors, will fly outdoors, it's got good flight endurance, is really well tuned out of the box, and that's an important feature. Hey, this is pretty good value. It's pretty damn good value. Good, congratulations, GEPRC. You've made a really nice little quadcopter here for the kind of things I like doing, getting those intimate FPV shots at 4K. Can you believe it? 4K. Perhaps just before I go, the only thing I don't like about the Tarsier is that apparently in 2.7K, which is my favorite resolution, it only does 4:3. What's with that? At least that's what it says in the book. I haven't tried it because I've only had this a couple of days to really try out. But if that's not important, don't worry about it. This is versatile enough that you can get those slow cinematic shots through the trees, or you can chase someone with it. You can chase a motorbike or chase a car. It won't necessarily keep up with high speed stuff, but it's got enough get up and go to get up and go, and it's fully aerobatic. If you pop it into air mode, set it up for air mode, you can do flips and rolls and all that sort of stuff. So I was originally thinking, well, why would you buy one of these instead of something like a Mavic Mini? Mavic Mini is sub 250. Mavic Mini's only got a 1080p camera, but let's face it, most of the time you're going to be using 1080p or something. About 4K, there's not a lot of use for 4K unless you're downscaling and cropping and so forth in the editing. So Mavic Air, wouldn't that be better? I mean, Mavic Air's got GPS, Mavic Air's got DJI support, Mavic Air is simpler to fly. And I'd have to say, yeah, if you just want to get panoramic shots, a camera in the air that sweeps around and gets pictures of trees and things, the Mavic Air might be better. But if you want a versatile thing that you can shoot gaps, you can chase people, you can really have a ball with. You can treat it like a 5-inch mini quad, or you can treat it like a cinequad. I can't beat this little thing at the moment. It's the best one I have tried to date. So if you haven't tried cinequadding, I really recommend you do. It just opens up new doors and windows to having fun with FPV. So, and if you want a cinequad, well, this one's looking pretty damn good. Certainly from the perspective of analog, it is the best I have seen. So there you go. Now there's a link in the description. If you want to support the channel, click on that link. Go and have a look at all the information on the Banggood website. It's not an affiliate link. I don't make a bean from it because I don't want you thinking that I'm trying to pitch this as being a good product if it's not. But I think other reviews on YouTube have also given it a pretty good write-up. So there's a bit of consensus here. Yeah, it's a nice little quad. Certainly very nice. I will be giving it a lot of flight time. And there you go. So if I can rush out and get some more footage, I'll stick it on the end. In the meantime, questions, comments to the questiony commenty bit that YouTube provides. And thanks for watching. I'll spot you later. Bye for now.